What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? Welcome to a stream. How y'all doing? Why does this webcam not want to stay? Oriented. Direction oriented. Speaking of Priority Survive, I actually found evidence that Priority Survive lives on, dude. At least in spirit. Looking through all of these insane informations. Let me tell you, there's some goofy ass shit. But I was also plugging in some updated wireframes, which is always exciting. So, go ahead and plug that in there. Doing some quick housekeeping here. All right. What's up, Terran Dominion? How you doing? Trying to remember the wireframes that we've got so far. We already have this Cyprian and Shaman from a long time ago. I think recently we got the Savant and the Azazel. And, oh yeah, and the Centaur and Madrigal. And the Paladin and the Wyvern. Dude, check it out. Actually, are there any units that we don't have wireframes for the Terrans anymore? I don't think so. Southpaw, yeah, we got one for them. Nice. Yeah, absolutely. There's always 3, dude. Like how I placed all of these guys in groups of 3. Nobody would ever suspect the 3. I don't think we have wireframes for any of these buildings. But we do have a wireframe for the Gorgoleth now, which is pretty cool. The color balance is a little weird, but that's okay. And, oh, for the Nathracor, for the Iroleth, although this is not the right Iroleth graphic, but that's okay. Iroleth, Iquare, you can get them mixed up. So yeah, that wireframe is actually wrong. That's an old one, but that's okay. I probably had the wrong file in the name. I feel like I had some Protoss ones too, but I don't quite remember. Exemplar is not uploaded yet. Hey. Alright, we do have the Empyrean. We have the Aurora. Yeah, no Exemplar, no Clarion. And we have the Grand Library. Check it out, dude. Five Nations Southpaw. As in, like, actually have a race called Five Nations and they just have random units? Yeah, I checked the Empire in. I can send you the updated Irolith graphic in a sec. Destiny 1, there are 3 possible characters, 3 possible subclasses per character, 3 possible types of energy damage, 3 weapon slots, 3 types of primary weapons, 3 types of special weapons, and 3 types of heavy weapons. Well, you know, Bungie is just fucking paragon of originality, dude. They've never why I'm in the wrong folder. They've never failed before. Oh yeah, sure. Hold on. Well, I would do better graphics, like better rips, if that splitter was working fully. But like you said, that'll be like tomorrow or whatever. So I guess I can get working on that over the weekend. I actually have. I think I have the second Destiny game. I've never played on it, any of them. I think in order to even play the second game, I would have to reinstall the Blizzard app. So I'm not doing that. Although maybe I got it for free. No, I think I got a Steam key or something. I don't remember. So long ago. All right, I sent you the IRLF thumbnail as well for now, just by itself. But obviously, I'll be doing the others later on. D2 it simply doesn't have the same number of threes. Okay, how can it be as good a game without as many threes? I mean, it's obvious. There was one other as well from the Zerg, but I don't remember what it was. Maybe not. I can just look it up right here in my second monitor while I think about what else I have. I know I have Grand Library. That might have been it. I think all the rest were Mongo Gunner and something else. Outlive Explorer or something. Oh, Othsteleth, that was the other one. He also just did the Gatherer. It looks like. Nice guy. Oh, he even gave you 2 different sizes for Tranwire. What a gentleman. Well, technically 3 different sizes, because you can just reuse the wireframe one. I can't believe how many of these units in all of these games are so fucking generic. They just have action verb name. So dumb. Yeah, it feels less Mongolistic now. Yeah, that might work, I guess. Depends if the playstyles are super different. It might be a problem. Nice. Dude, I lost my nail clippers. I don't know where they went. I probably just left them in the bathroom like a month ago or something. Just don't know where they are anymore. All right, so we've done our housekeeping for the day, I think. I should do a little bit of assessment here. I did do Deimos's base placement, as you can see here, as the thumbnail also showed you. And I placed this area. Oh, yeah. I'm not sure if I want to have this be... I'm not sure if I want to have this bit here be related to... like if I want it to be a space cliff or if I want it to be a something else cliff. Like basically just a north-facing high dirt cliff. I'm leaning towards a space cliff, though. I think it's kind of interesting. that we could end up dealing with a situation where we have like a series of stacked asteroid levels. So you get like the lower level that is in space, and then the upper level that is not in space. So that could be interesting, but that would obviously be its own can of worms to actually implement. But really quickly, I can make the low-level cliffs that blend with space. That shouldn't take too long at all. And with any luck, we will be able to figure out what else we need. I'm not going to use it for anything in Hydra, but obviously. I mean, I don't think you would use it either because you don't have any Zerg-like thing. Lazareth would be like... I don't know, I kind of wish the Irolith itself was bigger so that it was less of a massive jump to the Othsteleth. The problem is that the old Irolith graphic, it looks weaker and more fragile than the default Overlord. So unless I wanted to replace the default Overlord graphic, that would obviously not work out, you know? So, we're looking for Dirt Cliff Edge. Oh my god, go away. So in this case, we'll say space mead. And then at some point I can do the junk related to whatever else needs to happen there, the higher level. Slowly but surely, we're doing the work. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I saw that. I've already thrown all of those into their folders so that I can use it in the future. Mongolith. I like that one, dude. That was a slow burn. Maybe Mongolith should be real. You need Overlord Iris to unlock Overlord. Mongolith. Mongolith will be a spoof in the new engine or something, where I make fun of myself and my crazy naming conventions. All right, so now we just have to add another bit of this to the brush file. There was Dirt Cliff space somewhere. Okay, Dirt Cliff Space low. Sorry about the bonk, by the way. Yeah, I was just talking about that earlier. I grabbed it on stream. And threw it into the Outlive package folder. You must be a happy boy that he's doing all of those wireframes. What are you using Mongo Gunner for, by the way? I meant to ask you earlier. What kind of psychosis am I going to witness when I boot up Overlord and Mongo Gunners are my default unit? Harvest brains using the Mongo Gunner. Oh. Oh, I see. That's pretty funny. Well, Scourge are useful in the vanilla game to pick off things like science vessels and Corsairs in certain cases. But they're definitely a very niche unit. And I have a feeling it would stay that way in Hydra. But I think that maybe what I might end up exploring in the future is some sort of buff to the unit itself, either through accessibility by reducing their gas cost, or something like that. I wouldn't necessarily buff their damage or anything. I guess I indirectly buffed their damage because you now actually benefit from upgrades in that environment. Oh yeah, I just realized I didn't do Dirt Cliff Doodads in space. It's kind of a problem. But obviously it's a situation where you wouldn't immediately think, like, there's not so many situations where you would immediately think, oh yeah, I want Scourge right now. The way that gets attenuated by default in Hydra, despite the fact that, like, yeah, okay, you get them from upgrades or whatever, that's fine. You also see way more units, like way more air units in Hydra by virtue of there being more air units, by virtue of air units being more accessible. I think, like, there's not going to be a single game where you don't see at least like a quarter of any given player's units not be air, unless it ends really early or something through a rush. Like if the game goes very long at all, you're probably going to see air being used. And that's partially because there's a lower barrier to entry of using any sort of tech tree, because while you have the upgrades, the tiered upgrades, you don't have any like unit specific upgrades or researches. You don't have to go and specialize, spend money to access like Psionic Storm or anything like that. So in addition to there being new units that are air, there's also an incentive, like more, or I guess less reasons not to go air. It's not that there are more reasons to go air necessarily. There are, but in addition to that, we also have less reasons to avoid that sort of thing. So, yeah, I don't know. I think I look at it like it's a situation where ultimately the I'll be able to determine whether or not the unit is still in a good spot later on, after taking a more long and thoughtful look at the way that it shapes up in the current metagame. But I do think that things are looking up for the Scourge generally. I think it has a way better, more well-defined combat role now than it ever did before. So there's that at least. No, we're not having any upgrades at all eventually, so upgrades are a dead end. Tiered upgrades, like you get bonus damage to your weapon if you're an infantry unit, like, Terran infantry have weapons. Those are still in the game, but those are just there because we don't have the real estate to replace all of the upgrades with new units. And to your point about them being effective against battlecruisers, they're actually surprisingly ineffective against battlecruisers unless you're able to swarm them, because battlecruisers, or unless you have sufficient upgrades, because battlecruisers one-shot Scourge. Okay, let's add that to the tile set. Oh, wait, I already did add it to the tile set. I'm losing my fucking mind. Save. And... yeah, carriers are a little bit easier to pick off because the interceptors have that lag time. So it's not as big of a deal for them. But... they are definitely not a unit that has like a very epic like they're not a unit that you'll see in every single matchup or whatever, right? They're not an everyman unit, but I don't think that makes them bad per se. I think they have a role in default Starcraft, and their role is only more useful now than now that things are a bit more slanted towards air. Oh, I'm looking for this one. Here we go. So I guess the question becomes, do I want the player to start out with a height disadvantage when it comes to their immediate surroundings? Because the dirt here is low. It's a lower height level. It's just really hard to show that without a direct cliff line. We would have the ramps, but like think about how you contextualize low dirt otherwise. Oops, that's not the right program. Like if we look at this, the reason why we know like, oh, high dirt is different than low dirt because, or like regular dirt, I guess. We know why the darker dirt is lower than the brighter dirt because we see all of these cliffs. So we know that there's a height difference. Even if we have the ramps, we're not going to have the cliffs. So that's an interesting one. I'm not actually sure how that'll work out. Because we might have it won't even be that ramp, will it? It'll be something like this. Right? But the blending will have to be entirely different. So maybe I will just end up using this and I'll be changing the upper tile. I don't know. We might actually need like a custom ramp entirely for that. I don't know how that's going to work out. But like even if we show the ramps going down, it's going to be really hard to illustrate that these, like if we have a ramp going down from here, okay, now we know that like this is going down. But that's our only frame of reference because this never like passes I guess I could make some tiles where it passes underneath. Like the lower terrain passes underneath the this cliff or something. That would be tough, but I could do it. Yeah, I'm just trying to conceptualize what tiles we're gonna need for this map to really sell the theme. Like we're gonna need bridges. We're gonna need... I'm gonna need to use those pipes that will connect. Like I actually have those already done, but from DF. But I'm gonna need to take set some time aside to have them dig into the side over here. Probably using these these tiles right here. that will be useful. So yeah, we'll be thinking about that. For now, I'm going to take a break, use the bathroom and all that. I'll come back in a few minutes, get some more work done on the the layout here, the playout, and the tiles presumably as well. So, BRB. Yo, yo, yo. Is that my queer? Yeah, we were talking about scourges. I was also doing some tile work. Quickly imported the dirt stuff. The dirt space cliffs. All right, so I think I can actually make something like this happen. Yeah, I think Imgal Uzello would work fine for it. You'd have to make it hit scan or something. If you wanted to fire missiles, you'll have to use the same method I used for the Paladin or whatever method you came up with for the Empyrean, but... Oh, Mongo Gunner. So I think what I'll do here for the changes that I'm going to make is I'm going to make the space cliff thing. No, I don't think there's anything like that. You'd have to make them yourself. I'm going to have to find this junk somewhere. Well, welcome. How's things? Oh yeah, I forgot. I remember. Those were the days, dude. Oh, I didn't even need to select anything? It just did it all anyway? Wow-wee! Now that's impressive. Dude, if there was a... I don't know how DF made that magic fucking button, but he did it. Dude, check this out. I don't even have to mask anything out here because it's all the null tile. I just gotta roll around here and fix up any issues I find. I'm sure I'll have to do some small adjustments here and there, but... Oh yeah, I mean, I'll be working with 3D modeling at some point to try to alleviate those issues. But you're right that it's an issue. Wish there was a way I could, like, select. What this would make, but I think 3D is going to be annoying to do, but I'm gonna have to do it anyway. Wonder if there's a way I can, like, select. Oh, here we go. Perfect. Not sure if there's a way to automatically do this stuff. But I'm assuming not. Just by moving it below the layer, it fixed most of the issues. There's just the cases like this where we obviously can't be allowing such silliness. Huh. 3D cannot really give us more access. It's just that 3D is easier to make certain animations work, like interpolation or whatever. But that's about it. Like, it's easier to make animations in 3D than it is in 2D because you skip the step of baking the animation into some sprites or whatever. Alright, I've actually just thought of a much more epic fix for this. It's not exactly epic because it's not. Well, you'll see. Basically, I think by separating each individual tile group, I should be able to still use drop shadows just fine. The fuck? think I'm gonna have to sort these inverted as well. You. Does it give you an error? Why doesn't Photoshop allow me to fucking scroll through the holy moly, dude. What a program. Oh, that didn't help at all. There's got to be a way to do this automatically that doesn't involve a lot of pain and suffering. Dude, do you have any idea how long it takes to make image graphics like overlays? Unless you're talking about using PyLO, that's easy, but It takes a long time to make images like engines or whatever. I also absolutely have to change this fucking song because this is so asinine. This is map 4, and you're in a space station that's taking in asteroids for mining. You wouldn't really see it at all there, but the best approximation I can do. Well, as much as I'm on map 4's terrain, I'm also, like, not polishing any of these, so... Oh, I think I just saved over the Empyrean attack LOG. XD. Whatever, it's not that big of a deal. I can just do one of these. I think. Hello? Well, I don't know why it's not, It should be showing up as... Oh, because it's a .log file, it never synced. Well, whatever. I think I sent it to you at some point, so... I don't even know if UAD Commander is doing it, to be honest with you. It might just be you and me. I guess I should say Meek instead of me. So it's me and Meek. Meek. Huh? Huh? Alright, let's get back to this. See, again, I don't know how to make it so that there's a shadow. Like... I guess it really will just be manual labor. Gross. Maybe DF will have some idea for how to create like a automated thing that isn't so asinine to get it to cut away. It'll work as a placeholder anyway. Yeah, I'm not gonna worry about that until I'm done with Deliverance. But yeah, I mean, at first we're just gonna port Hydra. That's our main objective as far as content goes. I mean, that's my main objective. Once we have the tools to do something else, to like actually generate content, you know, if you want to spend all the rest of your time on Overlord or whatever, that's also fine. But the goal initially will be, can we recreate Starcraft? Can we recreate Hydra? Can we make it work? That sort of thing. Anyway, I'm not going to continue that just yet. We're not talking about Starcraft, we're talking about Hydra. We're going to make a huge number of changes to the core underlying systems. We're going to improve pathfinding, we're going to improve a lot of stuff. I'm not at all concerned with the idea that we need to be faithful to things that don't make sense to be faithful towards. So that's not at all in the cards, I wouldn't say. So I wouldn't worry about that. No, I'm not interested in the like remaking the campaign or whatever. Like Hydra in terms of the game state, not in terms of, oh yeah, we're gonna copy the campaign. We'll just make our own content. Like the whole point is we would like to make our own content. So the only reason why we're trying to emulate Hydra, which in turn means some sort of emulation of Brood War, is because Brood War is the best. So if like when we're trying to be the new best, we should at least try to be as good as the default one, you know? The go-to. I Control Z'd and then I remembered what program I was in. Oh. Okay. Beautiful. Mwah. Breaking out from SC, making something entirely original with Hydra in the new engine. The thing is, until we have enough graphics so that we can support something entirely original, we'll probably still be using things like what's the term? Like Starcraft assets or whatever. We'll probably still be using a lot of those. So it will probably still feel like a Starcraft mod for a while, but eventually we're going to branch out, and like that's another one of those things that working within limited assets and limited possibilities when it comes to tech, like engine limitations, it basically stops you. It stunts your growth as a writer, I think. It stunts your growth as a developer, as a creator, because you can't take responsibility for more stuff even if you want to. Like, I would love to take more responsibility for like writing my own lore, like having it be entirely original. But I don't really have that luxury in an environment where well, where I don't have the assets to do it, right? What does that even mean? Are there any Rust RTSs? Dude, there's like 6 RTSs made ever. So the idea that one of them is going to be programmed in Knave's pet language is no. I wonder if these are lard mirrored. The act of lard mirroring is when you flip something, but you also flip the subtile. So it actually breaks stuff. That's what happened to the asphalt cliff, for example. I'll be able to tell you. It's fucked, but that might be default lardism. It doesn't look... actually, it might be fucked. Why is there that random bit? Is that in there too? That's sort of in there. That looks like it's leftover shadow or something. I can fix that later. Anyway, yeah, it looks fucked. I'm not sure what you mean by that, but if you're talking about this... Yes. Because I just literally just made it in front of you. I wouldn't be surprised if there were. Yeah, it's hard to know what they were planning at any given time because there's no documentation there, so... Alright, we gotta fill in some custom blends here and there, but shouldn't be that difficult to do. Yeah, they probably realized pretty quickly that that kind of system doesn't lend very well to actual gameplay. Oh shit! I left too. Check that out, bros. What a man June 3 Hong is. Of course, 3. What else would it be? Epic. Yeah, he might have. They may have gotten lost, dude. Or maybe he wanted to do all the Zerg ones at once. I don't know. I'm not even sure if I like the idea of what I've done here, though. Like, it might make more sense to just isolate this as a, like, have this whole area be low dirt, and there be a ramp up, and then, like, elsewhere is the higher dirt stuff. I don't know. That's probably what I'll end up doing, but we'll see. Who'd have guessed? No, I only hook whatever you tell me to hook, so. If you have ported the Paladin and it has 6 transport size still, that is probably why it doesn't show. So that's why. Shows fine when it's only 4. Yeah, but why would I... Unless you tell me, we need this hook for this reason, there's no reason to actually, like, make a hook in the first place. Particularly since we're moving on to a new engine later anyway. Now, one thing we do need to fix, like, we need to fix the fact that transports just delete units from existence if there's over 8 in the cargo. That we need to fix. There's a few other bugs that we absolutely need to fix, but I actually don't remember what they are. I was thinking about it earlier today. And it occurred to me that it's really important, but I don't remember what it is now. Fuck. Oh, it's the sound effects hook for in GPTP is bugged. Yeah, the game itself. Haha. But something is wrong with this code here that I've got commented out. I'm not really sure why though. Like somehow all of this down here is fine, but this is bugged, and I don't know why. I think it's probably related to all of the conversion that happens, but that's stuff that's in the IDA, so I don't know. Maybe it's the lowered stuff as well. I basically removed that entirely. Oops, bonk. I'm assuming these are your corrections. So it detects the sound correctly. But for some reason it's playing... It plays the sound before the piss line? But I don't know, like, the other thing, though, is the whole piss sound. Like, I don't know if... Alright, so since we're only getting these first two, right? The sound is set to sound piss first. And then if that sound exists, if it's not null, the sound gets cast again as a U16? And then this, and then return sound. Else, that so somehow it's getting, it's saying that sound get unit data, unit stat entry, sound piss first, unit ID. Somehow that's null. Or no, it isn't. I don't understand then. I print text in all these cases. Sound is not null. So I guess A2 is less than or equal to this. And then they null check it? They check it if it's not 0? Oh, maybe it's because when I added this, I don't know. That seems really weird. Oh, now it's working. Except I'm still not getting building sounds. Well, alright. I was able to fix that. But now it doesn't, it still is not playing unit or whatever acknowledgement sounds, building. I didn't disable them. They're still here. Building sounds on. Really, so what this should do is it should check if it has... See if that check has any impact. Yeah, somehow that broke piss lines again. I don't know why. I'm sure this won't take 8 years. Well, while this takes 8 years, I will BRB. Hey, it didn't take 8 years. That's pretty cool. What the fuck? No idea why that would be so problematic, so broken, but it is. For now. A couple that I'm playing around with from the Federation, I might end up using for Deliverance. Like there was one that I was going to use for a cruiser for them. So V3 equals units at what sound start. V4 equals units at what sound end. The only difference is that it sets this to U16. And if they equal each other, maybe that's why? I can't imagine that's the reason, though. But yeah, that's the only thing otherwise. That I noticed when comparing the two. Yeah. Still no good? I have thought about it, but I don't know how to get into contact with them, honestly. I'm not sure if they would be too interested in doing it, but maybe. You never know unless you give it a shot. Good old DF always finds a way to be magical. Something seems to have occurred to our graphic. I'm assuming it was some issue with the palette that I used or something. Because it certainly doesn't look that fucked up here. So I'm going to assume that my GRP is at fault. But I might have... Oh. Why? It certainly doesn't seem like it should be getting fucked this way. Oh. I still don't really see what's going on here. Oh. Yeah, that was a fucking Dumbo move on my part. I was still editing a different file in Photoshop. There we go. So the only problem here is that we are going to have to fill in some gaps that didn't get corrected somehow. But not to worry, things should be all right. These are gaps that were presumably in there by mistake in the default graphic. But maybe I just messed something up. Wouldn't surprise me if there were a bunch of issues with the default graphic, though. I mean, if they're naming their ships after... guerrilla photographers. What more evidence do you need? Oh yeah. I'm glad Windows Explorer or whatever doesn't break. Well, I'm trying to hold off on doing my next playthrough until I finish the review for Arkham Knight, which is taking it's time, you know. I don't know how in depth I'm going to go exactly, but I probably want to. There's so many problems that I would like to linger on in a perfect world where I had plenty of time. But in the interest of not taking super long to get back to the next playthrough that I do, I will most likely be picking like a couple of main points, lingering on those, and then moving on from there. But after that, I will be playing my old campaign in Consummate, and then I'll probably do a playthrough of Dead Space 2, which will be similar to Arkham Knight in terms of how I go about it. It'll be an actual game. It won't be a custom campaign, and it'll be. I'm not. I think I was thinking of streaming that one, like live streaming it, but it might be more convenient to just offline record it. We'll see. I still haven't fully decided. I was thinking that like Arkham Knight was probably a game I should have live streamed because that's a game where you have a bit more control over like you can do a bunch of shit. So if I were in there just like talking shit to the chat that was there and they were like, "Oh, you should go do this quest," or whatever. Like I could do like fucking polls or something. I don't know. I could have done something to make it a little bit more of a spectacle while you're there, and I think it still would have been entertaining. And it probably would have resulted in me giving, paradoxically, more analytical sort of content because like people would have asked questions and I would have answered them and stuff like that. So I think by slowing down the gameplay, like at some point, especially towards like the middle of the playthrough, I was so fucking tired of the game that I just started like rushing through stuff. Where if I had just taken my time a little bit more, it would have led to longer videos and maybe a longer playthrough overall. But it probably would have led to better quality content. So I'm not really sure how I feel about that. Where I think that in a live stream context, I probably would have been a little bit slower because I would have been like exploring stuff. So to say it in short, there will be a playthrough of Dead Space 2 coming. I may pick up one or two other games that are out there, but other than that and some custom content, that'll be it for the playthroughs for a little bit until I'm done with my campaign that I'm working on now. And at that point, we can jump into some other environments. I was thinking of doing Age of Empires after all was said and done with the campaign stuff, like over in November-ish. I'm still not sure if that will be then. All right, so now that that's over, I did want to take a look. I had already done the Centaurs graphic, but I think it had a similar issue with it in terms of it not being centered. Yeah. So we will merge visible, frame set. Yeah, I might have to take a look at that, some of that guy's content to get a better read on what you mean, but I could definitely do something like that. Because all of my other custom campaign, well, I did a custom campaign playthrough a while back of some Russian guy's campaign, and I started doing something different in that playthrough than what I had done before, where I'd actually open up his maps in the editor and like basically do an editor analysis or whatever after playing the map. Like I'd play the map, complete it, talk about my experience playing it, open up the map in the editor, and then analyze it a little bit more long form. I did the same thing with the Starcraft playthrough, and I think that ended up being pretty good, generally speaking, at as far as like trying to provide a decent amount of analysis, basically, without crowding out part of the gameplay. So I'll probably do the same thing for Inconsummate. Starting out with 0. Oh, the buff will start out with 0, you mean? I was going to say, if the unit itself starts with 0. I don't know about that one. Well, there you go, man. We've got better team color on this thing. You're next, Gorgoleth. Except not really. I have no idea when I'll be able to do the Gorgoleth, but hopefully soon. I win. All right. Enough threes. All right. Let's finish our design here. Update it a little bit. Alright, so we're starting to block out where the ramps are going to be. That's going to be a bit of a challenge, but should be possible. Yeah, there's all sorts of ones that probably slipped past. Giga Shark. Looks pretty imposing, TBH. Yeah, I mean, even my humorous name is got more character than fucking flagship. Boring. I think I'll at least give it an honorable mention because in my research for trying to fix some of the many problems that I had on PC that still exist to this day, mostly like driver support and all this other shit, I found out that apparently people are getting like insane issues that like still like massive slowdowns and stuff. It's probably related to the NVIDIA GameWorks shit where they basically get bribed to make the game run worse on AMD. Which is pretty hilarious. Fuck, what was I going to do just now? I don't remember. Oh hey, I did have to remake my Twitter account, so maybe I can find these clown emojis on Twitter. The last time they had a tweet was February 2nd of this year. Oh, and of course they have a Patreon. Wait. Actually, I don't know. Maybe they have a... Maybe they're only a user? I don't see an actual page here for anything else. That's really weird. Oh, every single time. Of course. Their game, Five Nations, is like also a Native American thing or something. So, like American Indian thing. I don't know about that one. Well, I guess I can send him a message. I send him a message. We'll see if they respond. I wonder if they know we've made a better RTS than them using Brood War and their art. I wonder. But actually, yeah, I should document that. Alright, I just had to document that I was gonna do that, leave a note for that thing. Oh, right, that was the other thing I wanted to do is create a series of dummies. Hey, can we use Flingy entry 255 now that we're 2-byte, or should we not use 255? One, two, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Ten, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, 100, 110, 120, 140, 150, 160, 170, 180, 190, 200. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 300. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 400. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 500. Hell yeah, bro. Alright, that should be enough. So if we go from 255 to 755, I don't know. Maybe it's fine if we just grab these. I might leave it blank. TBH. We shall see. We shall 3. I wonder how soon he'll throw down a Giga Shark wireframe. He might be like, oh my god, I love the Giga Shark. Oh, did you get back to him about the War Factory wireframe, by the way? In the latest comments, he says that it works fine for him. I don't think I went into great detail about it. The reason was the same as the reason why Kerrigan got free will. In my the in lore reason is, I don't know if it was ever exposited, because it wasn't really important. The why was not important as much as the how, or like what he does with it, like what he does with his free will. So it wasn't as much as that he had, like, he still had to do things. So it wasn't really free will, but he had a certain amount of agency, just like Kerrigan did, where like he could come up with his own battle plan and try to do his own thing. Like, you'll notice that, I mean, there's like a, what's it called? There's a series of events that happen even in the original story where Goska is not obeying his instructions as ruthlessly as he could, or in the exact way that you would expect if he was full-blown infested like Kerrigan was, to the point where he's like got no traces of humanity left. But that's a stupid fucking character arc, and Kerrigan's a stupid fucking character. I didn't want to repeat that. But I used the same levels of, like, Kerrigan comes up with her own battle plan and tells the Cerebrates to go fuck themselves. I mean, it's a little bit different because Goska directly answers to a Cerebrate instead of to the Overmind, because he's not that important that he needs to answer to the Overmind directly. But instead he answers to Zor. I don't even know what vibe checking means. But, like, in the third mission, Goska tells the Terrans to leave, and there's even really boring and poorly implemented exposition where they have some battle chatter, and they're like, hey, all of the other units have evacuated. What's going on? Like, they don't understand why it's happening, or they don't really know what's going on, but they were ordered to evacuate, and then you see that they were ordered to evacuate by Goska, and he's doing so that he can blow up the starports. Like, the whole scene is played stupid. It's executed poorly, but the idea was that you have Goska trying to spare as many Terrans as possible while still accomplishing the goal of destroying the starports. Now, what should have happened in that scene, the smallest change that I could make to that scene is make it so that instead of Goska blowing up the starports after all of those Terrans walked like 5 feet away, which was really comical and stupid and slapstick in retrospect, the Zerg should have just descended upon it and killed it there. It's like, oh, the Zerg blew his cover. And maybe that was by order of Australia, maybe that was by order of Tuzor, but either way, the Zerg blew his cover, and now they know, oh, Goska is the infested, right? So now Goska's got to deal with that. Like, that's sort of what that scene is supposed to be on a narrative and character-driven level, is Goska, he's still trying to get as many Terrans out of there. Like, he's not, like, celebrating when the Terrans die in the first mission, and he's pretty morose about it in the third mission, especially considering, like, he's been trying to get as many of them alive as possible so that they just fucking leave instead of, like, condemning them to death. So he was using the limited agency that he has. He still has to complete his objective, but he was given agency to complete his objective in whatever way he saw fit because he's a tactician of sorts. He's got the skills necessary to do so. And whether he's leading Zerg or he's leading Terrans, as you see in the later stages, he still has some idea of what to do. So really the problem with the original story is that I didn't like the scenes that you have there don't execute these ideas very well. I think the ideas themselves though could work fine. It's just I would need to present them in a much more reasonable way. And I do think that I was going for a little bit of misdirection, or not necessarily misdirection, but I was trying to build up your expectation that Goska's just an emotionless, cold, fully infested man, and then slowly peel away, like leave hints, you know, like, oh, he's actually trying to get as many of these guys out of here as possible, and you know he still has to kill them, so he still points his gun and shoots in the direction of the enemy, but like that's not enough to, I don't know, I feel like I could have had more hints dropped. I wouldn't want to be super obvious about it because the whole point is that if you're paying attention, you can get that. And like that's a reward for paying attention is you get a better understanding of what the character is. But broadly speaking, I think it probably fell a little bit flat for some people. Maybe because they weren't expecting that level of subtlety in a StarCraft campaign, but also because I think the execution of that wasn't the best. So you were probably distracted by other things in the scene, like how goofy it is that he tells them to leave and then he doesn't even wait for them to get off of the plateau he's on before they, like, out of sight range before he blows up the starport. It's really dumb. Whereas if the Zerg blow his cover there, that's a bit more like, for one, it's a bit more thematically consistent. It is consistent with the internal and external conflicts he has with the swarm and with his infestation. It's like he's trying to do his objective with as minimal casualties as possible, and the Zerg are not making that easy for him. And he doesn't even really want to be doing his objective in the first place. So he's got a lot of inner conflict, and it manifests in terms of like his conflict with the Zerg that he's leading or that he's fighting alongside or that he's serving. That's the whole point of his character in the first campaign. It's just one that is not articulated as well as it could be. So hopefully that answered your question. But to be honest, the idea that there's supposed to be some sort of verisimilitude with the like internal consistency of events or lore or whatever, I hate to break it to you, but this is StarCraft we're talking about. There is no such thing as internal consistency, even within the original story. So I mostly just tried to, like, as seamlessly as possible and with, like, I knew what kind of story I wanted to tell, so I tried to the best of my ability, pick ideas and elements, like infestation or whatever, like concepts or figures or factions like Rainer's Raiders. I tried to pick a point in the story where you could reasonably suspend your disbelief that, oh yeah, Rainer's Raiders were sort of involved in the Battle of Ire because Rainer himself came to the warfront later in the Protoss campaign. So if this is taking place during the Protoss campaign, I can imagine that the Raiders are there. And maybe they were just not in the middle of the fight, in that particular fight that I was playing as when I played the Protoss campaign. You know, stuff like that. I tried to make it, like, seamless. I knew there was going to be some issues, but I tried to make it like, okay, this is the internal consistency of this story. And this story itself is internally consistent. And so the idea of, like, infested Terrans having some agency, if they're characters, if they are able to you know, survive the infestation process and not turn into an N, then yeah, like that's something that you can imagine is I'm not really sure how to describe it, but it's basically like, if you can imagine that it might happen or it might be real, or if you can point to an existing example in the lore, like it's less likely that people are going to say, what, that's weird, that's not like what I know, if it's somewhere in the realm of possibility, right? And then with that anchor, I can then say, all right, you're along for the ride now. Let's go and let me show you all the other shit I've got planned that has nothing to do with the default story, and show you all these other characters that you're going to spend time with, and that sort of thing. So yeah, this definitely needs some sort of depth. Maybe I'll send it over to DF. Call in resource micro. The Giga Shark would definitely be useful as a void asset. I'll tell you that much. Okay. I am a little stuck as far as what to do with some of the rest of this. Like, I think maybe, I don't know. I wonder if I should be converting all of the platforms, like all of these asteroids or whatever that are in the inner circle. Maybe they should all be low dirt. I don't know. Like maybe this one could be mostly low dirt while this one is mostly high dirt, and then I just mix in some more low dirt. Guess we can try that. There's obviously room for a nice little expansion tucked up against the outskirts, against the space. I really like the aesthetic of the space stuff. I know it's probably something that could be done significantly better, but just fading this stuff out in the way that I have makes it feel like it could actually be floating in space, which is pretty cool, I think. Maybe I could reduce the power of the fade a little bit so that it's a bit more reasonable in that sense. I'm not sure. Do I not? Somehow it seems I don't have the space doodads? Maybe I didn't save the brush palette, I don't know. I'm pretty sure I made a category for it. So yeah, I must just not have saved. Thankfully, this is the easiest thing in the world. Or the least time-consuming thing in the world, I guess. Oh, check that out. That's another thing I'm gonna have to update. Why is it so hard to find what I need in this fucking brush, dude? Oops. Oh, never mind, that's fine. I think. Can't believe this is what early draft tile sets look like. One thing that I do like about the way that the palette automatically color corrected or color graded the tiles that we have here, well, at least the low dirt one, is that it looks kind of reddy, almost like reddish. Like, if I leaned into it a bit more, it might even look a bit like you could pass it off as like a Martian style thing. Though I would actually want sand, like color graded sand or something. Could be big. Hmm. Well, I guess this process wasn't so bad. Oh, wait. Okay. We're good there. We've started the terraforming. Clean this area up. We still need a lot more. We need ramps. We need bridges. We need... Oh, maybe that's it, actually. Ramps and bridges. I got to decide if I want to incorporate catwalk into here or not. I'm leaning towards yes. I'm leaning towards catwalk would be pretty neat. So we'll see. But yeah, I don't know. We're gonna need some more layout changes in the near future for that stuff. But for now, I have done some more work. And I can add some more expansions and stuff later on. So thanks for joining me for the past 3 hours. We've managed to get some pretty good work done on a variety of things. iQuare's got a few more assets. I've got a few more tileset things to tweak around with. And the map that I'm working on has a few more regions now. So, cool. We'll hopefully get some more map-specific progress done in the next couple of days. But, I'm not sure. It's a long toil that tileset stuff is. So, we'll see. Stay tuned for more content. See you tomorrow for another mod stream. Bye-bye.